From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Hello everyone, real quickly before we start with the forecast, I want to mention that the wind damage that we had in Oroville, the National Weather Service is sending out a crew to survey the damage. So of course we'll find out later when, or should we say if it is indeed a tornado, or if this is damage from straight line winds or a downburst or a microburst. And by the way, I'm going to be kind of recording a separate segment if you're interested, and we'll talk about the different types of winds that we have with microbursts and downbursts, and not to mention tornadoes, and that kind of helps the survey crews decide whether or not it's tornado damage or not. So be sure to check that out. I'll have it on social media, and not to mention on YouTube as well. All right, let's take a look at what's going on. The rain that we've seen the last few days, boy, it is finally wrapping itself up. I still expect to see a few showers this afternoon, but boy, through the day, we're going to see the chances diminish here. Snow levels still high, above 6,000 feet. But after today, it dries out, and it stays dry, most likely at least through Christmas, if not longer. All right, take a look at the Lake Oroville North Forebay. You can see some clearing in the skies here. Not much in the way of rain, but still looking at those overcast skies. That should eventually begin to clear out here, especially later on this evening. As you head to the south, in the valley, it's going to take longer for the clouds to clear out as opposed to the north, where we're going to see the system kind of shift southward. Here's a look at Trinity Center. A little bit of a burst here of some sunshine here, but it's kind of hard to see what kind of cloud cover we have out there. But once again, looks like we have the drier conditions there as well. Taking a look at Lassen Park, this is that near the south entrance here. Still a lot of that snow out there and still those overcast skies, but really not much in the way of precipitation. And I don't expect much more on top of what we've already seen, but look at what we have seen so far. This is as of 9 o'clock this morning. So basically, starting Sunday through 9 o'clock this morning, here's how much rain some areas have seen. Of course, some of you may have seen more, others of you may have seen less, just depends on where you are. But you can kind of see the bullseye where most of the rain was, and then you saw less as you head off to the north, and especially off to the north and to the east. So this is the storm system that's impacting our weather today. We've got that counterclockwise flow around that low, as you can clearly see. So we still have that flow pumping in the clouds and, of course, giving us the chance for showers. But as this storm system continues to dive to the south, we are eventually going to start to see some clearing and not to mention drier conditions. Let's take a look at Futurecast here. We're going to take you to about 5 or 6 o'clock this evening, and look, it's fairly dry. Now, there still may be a few lingering showers around Glenn and Butte counties here, but otherwise, most of the activity at this point is to the south, and you can see we're starting to see some clearing off to the north. Now we take you into your Thursday. We'll call it partly cloudy. Now, if we get enough clearing, we could actually start the morning off with some patchy fog in some areas here for the valley. So we'll have to watch for the potential for some of that fog, and it could make to kind of maybe slow down your morning commute. We'll have to kind of watch that closely here. But then as we go into your Friday, there you can still see some clouds moving in. Now, there's a system that's going to pass to our north. Now, Futurecast doesn't want to bring in any rainfall, but I'm still including a slight chance for some activity along the coast, Siskiyou and Modoc County, and maybe even parts of the eastern mountains. But overall, Friday's system, very, very weak, and I wouldn't count on much, if quite honestly, anything. We'll get into that here a little bit later. Here's some of the rainfall totals that we expect on top of what we've already seen. And again, we're just not going to see much more rain on top of what we've seen here. So there you can see very minimal amounts as we take you through the day today. Now, let's take you through Sunday, and there's a system passing to our north. That system will stay to our north, and I expect dry conditions through the weekend. Got my eyes on this here. Now, what's going to happen is as we approach Christmas Day, here's Christmas Day, that rain's still well off to our west. We have high pressure, which is kind of in place, so it's kind of pushing that energy to our north. That'll be the case as it approaches on Tuesday. You can start to see low pressure beginning to develop here, kind of undercutting all that. And here's that main batch of moisture. This is Tuesday of next week, so the day after Christmas. Still dry. But then as we go into Wednesday, it looks like that ridge of high pressure gives way, and we begin to see chances for rain. Snow levels may be lower with next Wednesday's system, but still too early to determine exactly what those levels will be. But I do expect maybe on average, maybe around 4,000 feet, and it could be locally lower. And then, of course, we've got some more activity coming in behind that, which could make for some more wet weather maybe by the end of next week. But overall, I'm not expecting a ton of moisture out of these systems. Here are your wave heights for the rest of the day today, upwards of around 10 feet as you start heading out to sea. But the good news is we should start to see those wave heights begin to drop, taking you into your Thursday. All right, here's what it looks like for the day today. Temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 60s for the valley. Now, depending on how much clearing we see this afternoon, will really depend on the clearing that we see will determine just how warm it gets. If it clears out sooner than expected, temperatures may be a bit warmer than this. But if the clouds stick around a bit longer, temperatures may be a little bit cooler. That's why I do expect to most likely see cooler temperatures down in the southern portion of the valley. But there you can see in the eastern mountains, 40s. But for Modoc and Siskiyou counties, upper 40s to low 50s. Low to mid 50s for Trinity County, right around 60 for the inland areas, and low 60s for the coast. All right, let's take a look at your 7-day outlook, and we've got Christmas in there. We've got the first day of winter tomorrow. It's going to be dry. So really, once we dry things out, it is going to pretty much stay dry. Now, again, I've included that chance on Friday. Quite honestly, as you're watching my evening update, I may even be taking that out of the forecast and should be dry through Tuesday of next week. Good if you have travel plans, right? But not so great if you have plans to do some skiing, because we can't do any skiing at the Shasta Ski Park just yet. There's a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. I've got it dry after today, and we're going to keep it dry all the way through Tuesday. Temperatures are going to drop a little bit here. You'll notice back down to the mid to upper 50s over the weekend into early next week, but still remaining dry. Here's your 7-day outlook for the North Coast. And again, I've included that chance for showers, maybe even for Trinity County, but at this point, it's probably going to amount to a whole lot of nothing, quite honestly. And as I mentioned, there's a chance that as you watch the evening forecast, I may be taking those chances for showers on Friday out. We'll keep it dry through the weekend, Christmas Day, and even next Tuesday.